I think album art, hip hop now, especially underground hip hop, is more significant than it ever has been.
Yep.
I don't think you could even debate that.
No.
Because even like some of the best, like, and I've done some interviews where we talked about like some of the worst album covers ever. Like some of my favorite music that I came up on, some of that album art is shit. Or I shouldn't say shit. It just hasn't aged well. So like the best stuff probably was like, really well done photographs. Like the iconic photographs or whatever. But then
By
like
iconic, you mean pen and pixel Master P work.
So the funny thing is,
The Abyss Podcast, hosted by Lukey Cage with Karl and PrimoJAB. You know what I mean?
Oh, level check is nothing. I don't got no audio right now.
What?
Hello? Level check, it don't say nothing. Oh wait, cause you know why? Cause I ain't turn it on.
You gotta turn the mic on.
Yeah, I know this is only the 50-second one, so I know,
Now it's working, yo. This is the second time using mic, yo. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
That's true. Time.
That's true.
It's my second time, yo.
You can slide.
I might bust a nut this time. Word.
Oh, okay.
Great.
I don't want to know about it.
Women, sometimes it take them a couple times to get that nut off.
Don't give me a crotch shot while you do it.
I won't, man. I won't. Yeah. Word. So we would start. Everybody, welcome to the what is this podcast called? The Abyss Podcast.
Yeah, that's
I couldn't say. I had a crotch shot before, and it kind of threw me off because I be putting the camera down right here. You know what I'm saying? Word, but y'all stay tuned. We have t-shirts with the Abyss Podcast and all type of shit coming for y'all. But boom, I got my co-host here. What up, Karl? How you doing, bro?
Peace.
It's a dope boots hoodie got there. It's mad comfortable. You know what I'm saying? PrimoJAB, how are you?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. Life is good.
This is episode 52, huh?
Yes, sir.
It is. And we have a very special guest down there. You know him for his drawings, his immaculate own style of drawing. You know what I'm saying? He has a different vision. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You see it, you know it's Pecue. Most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time. You know what I'm saying? You see it, boom, you're like, oh, you know who did that one? Yeah. My man Pecue Designs in the building, yo. How you feeling, man?
That's right. Peace.
Peace. Thank you for having me, fellas.
Sure indeed, man. How you feeling today, bro?
I'm good. How about all you guys?
Man.
Doing excellent.
Great.
I don't know. I'm having a rough day. Chelsea played Tottenham today. That shit was wild as fuck. I was able to watch it. The coaches almost fought.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It'd be dope. Imagine if you had like who's your team? Pecue, you got sports teams? Like, do you have any teams you follow?
Yeah, Philly, Sixers, all Philly teams.
Right.
I'm not hip to soccer. My brother-in-law is a big Chelsea fan.
No, me too. That's my squad.
Yeah. Okay. And I always thought that if I got into it, I would for the Arsenal bandwagon, just because it seems like all of like anybody I'm affiliated with in this lane is an Arsenal fan. Like shout out to Matt Hunter, shout out to Craig Dyer.
Gunners,
you know what I mean? Like all those guys they're big Arsenal fans. So I would just by default just be part of them.
True indeed. Yeah, they had a good 90s run.
A Philly native, Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, actually just bought with Ryan Reynolds, Wrexham football soccer.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And
I've heard of that team.
Yeah, they're going to have a, I guess the whole town was kind of centered around it and they were sinking. And somebody needed to invest some money into the sports team and it's already revitalized the city around it.
Okay.
Wow.
But yeah, there's going to be a documentary on Amazon. I just wasn't sure if you had heard about that up there.
I did hear about that. Yeah. And shout out to Rob. He's still very steeped in Philly culture and obviously like big fan of Philly sports teams.
Yes, definitely.
Soccer teams like gangs sometimes. I don't know if some of y'all watched what was it?
Green Street Hooligans.
There you go. That's it right there.
Yeah, I just watched it 2 days ago. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's tough right there. It's like Chelsea, all these, they got their gangs. It's like Crips and Bloods. Pyro was like drill music for soccer.
Yeah.
So indeed.
And you got a free Sons of Anarchy Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, you do.
For Green Street Hooligans.
Yeah.
He's like Elijah Wood's boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talking about Dax, right? What's it, or the dude who went on to go play Dax eventually?
I don't even know.
I'm not sure.
Well,
are you talking Bautista?
I don't know. My computer froze, so I came back just thinking we were still talking about Green Street Hooligans. I thought you were talking about the dude that ended up, the little brother who ended up getting killed in Green Street Hooligans.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood's boy.
Oh, yeah.
So he went on. He's the same dude that was in Sons of Anarchy. He was the main character from Sons of Anarchy too. I think his name was
Jax. Yeah,
Jax. There you go. Sorry, not Jax.
You said Dax. I thought Drax. I was going with Drax,
guys.
like Karl, yo. Drax.
No,
I was like,
Dax,
yo, Batista. I was like, what's that gun, Batista?
That's what I was like. I was like, what? What are y'all talking about? No, maybe I'm sure. Sorry, technology, but you know what it is.
It happens. It happens.
So PQ, like, how did you really get into this lane of hip hop? What is your story of like your like? Let's go back to Genesis, like take them back to like how you got into this brand of hip hop. Everybody got their story. Like you found a cassette, or like your big brother, your sister, or your dad, or had vinyl or something. Like, how did you get into this lane of hip hop?
So, I'm the youngest of three.
Okay.
I have an older brother and an older sister, and my sister is 10 years older than me. My brother is 9 years older than me.
Dang.
Yeah. And my brother was more of, I'm going to say like, he was more of like the music digger. Like he was real into, like a lot of that, I guess you would call it like post-punk and like new wave stuff. So he was real into like New Order, the Smiths, Morrissey, a lot of that stuff in the 80s. My sister's always been like, I don't want to, like, she kind of just always picked up on what was kind of not spoon fed to her, but just like not the type to go out and search for music. You know what I mean? She just kind of took what was around her. It just so happened that where I grew up, so you guys are familiar with like Hilltop Hustlers.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like
absolutely.
So my neighborhood, I grew up in West Philly. My neighborhood is Overbrook.
Okay.
And where Overbrook is set, you have Hilltop and Parkside that are like kind of surrounding Overbrook on one side. So you had Schoolie D, PSK, you had Hilltop Hustlers, and you also had Winfield on the other side, which is where Will Smith grew up.
Okay. West Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what people don't realize is that like in a way, in that section of West Philly is like it's definitely not like an affluent place, but it compared to other parts of Philly, like it was definitely, I would say, hood. But there's like a lot of parks, a lot of trees, and like and it's bordering the main line, which is like the kind of like one of the richer parts of Pennsylvania. So like we had Hilltop and Parkside on one side of us, and then across the way we had Lower Merion, which is where Kobe came up.
Yeah,
exactly. So so all that is to say that it was enough where you had like people like small record labels, like Lawrence Goodman starting his record label, which so you had you had Schoolie D, you had Hilltop Hustlers, but then you also had like groups would come to Philly to get put on. You know what I mean? Like even from New York. So all that is to say that though, like my sister was just kind of listening to what her friends were listening to, but it was those tapes. So she had like Cool C, Steady B tapes.
Okay.
And all of that made an impression on me.
Definitely.
But we were just a stone's throw away from where all that stuff was happening. So it was really dope.
And your sister's 9 years older?
10.
10.
And my brother 9. And then I got put on to like the stuff that my brother was listening to years later. But when I was younger, I mean, that stuff wasn't really appealing to a 7 or 8 year old kid. You know what I mean? Like rap and Guns N' Roses, and you know what I mean? Like that stuff's going to be more appealing and just like surface level. But I loved all that Smith stuff later on.
I fucks with it. I fucks with it.
Yeah.
So what is your first memory of hip hop? Like whenever your first thing that make you be like, oh wow, I love this shit.
It was my sister giving me like I don't know if it was Word Up magazine, but it was like her just showing me like the Beasties, Run DMC, and then my brother worked his job in high school. He worked at a Sam Goody. So I remember I was in 3rd grade, and for Christmas that year, his birthday or his Christmas present to me was he got me He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper, and the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction tapes. Yeah, so like that was
streams.
Yeah.
Word.
And then it just, but like even for me, like through most of like elementary school, I was kind of a passive listener. I just kind of listened to what my friends put me on to. What really, really got me into where I was like checking stuff out deep was, do you remember those like BMG and Columbia House?
Of course.
Where you could fill out the mail. Yeah. So that 60, got me into 60 like
tapes or CDs.
Exactly.
We all ruined our credit. Yeah, we all did.
Oh my God. Yeah.
My dad was so pissed.
I have 16 different aliases under the same address.
Absolutely. Yeah. I signed up under everybody in my house.
What the fuck?
At the time.
Yeah, that's what you had to do.
They were so mad at me. But the thing that people don't realize about those things is like, so what a lot of those services, they didn't give you new releases. So they kind of forced you to go to back catalog. So like, let's say, for example, when Midnight Marauders is coming out, you would be able to get Low End Theory. You know what I mean? You would always be able to get like a group's last release. So that was always dope to me because it made me appreciate I didn't always have to have the newest shit. You know what I mean? Like I could always go back and listen to somebody else's thing. And then by the time I was like in 8th grade, once I was old enough to just sit and play video games, like I would just play NBA Jam and just listen to Midnight Marauders and 36 Chambers on repeat. You know?
It came out at the same time. So like, boy, that was a good time right there, yo. Not to cut you off. What you drinking on, bro?
I'm just having a mango kombucha.
That's gonna get you good. That's gonna get you good, yo.
Yep.
Hey, yo, I drank some kombucha thinking it was gonna just clean me out, but I drank too much of it and got drunk.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't they have alcohol in it?
Yeah, well, I think
not like alcohol.
Fermented.
Yeah, it's fermented. Okay.
Yeah.
What is? I mean, I'm ignorant to kombucha. You know, I know nothing about it other than I think it's built from something that was alive. I know there's a culture that goes into it and it grows, and then you keep the thing that grows and you drink the juice or something like that. I don't know anything else about it. I'm probably way off.
No, it's basically that.
Yeah, I fucks with it. Like, I mean, I was confused when I got drunk though. I was definitely confused. I was like, man, what the fuck? I feel drunk. Now I gotta take a shit and I'm drunk.
Sounds like a Sunday morning.
Easy like a Sunday morning, yo. You know, y'all know my weapon of choice. The adult Kool-Aid.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The Mike Tyson commercials are so funny. True indeed. So boom, what is the first album cover that you drew for what got you into the album art covers? Like what? Explain that, then go into the first album cover. I'm sorry I'm asking all these crazy questions. Usually be
no.
Shit,
no, all of this is relevant. So going back before I started doing the illustrated album covers, I was just doing like Photoshop type album covers, which I'm not saying that that's just that. I would actually like to get into doing that again a little bit more. I've been involved in the Philly hip hop scene probably since like 97, I'm going to say. Not so much as an artist, but are you guys familiar with Bobbito's Footwork? Which is I'm
not.
Okay.
Bobbito. Stretching Bobbito?
Yeah, Bobbito, yeah.
Okay. So part of what this is just me addressing like how I got involved in going to shows and being like kind of, like when we see these like the smaller shows now that you'll see at like Rotten Island Records or Arawak's, or you know what I mean, like some of these places in like New York and Jersey, like the smaller venue, but they're mostly just shops. It's like going to a sneaker shop or a streetwear shop and they're doing in-store shows.
Yeah.
That's where Lukey, that's where I saw Razul for the first time.
Razul Allah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my homie, yo. What up, Razul?
Yeah. So
I can't believe that that's the connection that we got, yo. That's a wild dude right there.
Yeah. So like all of those guys, like because like Lost Children of Babylon.
Yeah. John Murdoch and all them dudes,
Yeah.
They got bullets, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. And even Jedi Mind Tricks, Vinny Paz, like all these guys they all cut their teeth at Bobbito's Footwork, because Bobbito started these two stores. One was in New York, one was in Philly, where he partnered with DJ Rich Medina. And it was like they sold, it's like the predecessor to what you would see for like Supreme, or you know what I mean, like some of these like smaller streetwear boutique shops. But it was really just Bobbito selling like dead stock sneakers. This was before the sneaker craze really happened the way that we know it. And like I started going there because I was writing graffiti at the time. So you go there to get like you would just go to get like fat caps for spray painting. But then you would also have like the early runs of like Mass Appeal magazine. You know what I mean? Like all these things that were just starting out at the time. But you would go, and the way that we're doing it now, mostly online, but you're meeting people, you're networking with people. I wasn't doing album covers then, but then like that kind of like brought me into what would be like underground hip hop or independent hip hop, because you're seeing people starting out that way. I probably started doing covers for like local Philly artists, I'm going to say around like 2012. Just doing like Photoshop stuff, like I said, real clean stuff. And then it wasn't until, for me, doing illustrated covers, that started in 2020.
Dang,
it's kind of new. Yeah. Like, I was putting this style out. It just wasn't going to covers. You know what I mean? And then I connected with my boy Screw Tape in Philly. And what happened was I was doing my own beat tapes. Him and I had showed some interest in working together, but it just never connected. And at the time I was living in Florida. So him and I never met. Him and I actually just met in person for the first time, probably back in like April, because he kind of came onto the Philly scene after I kind of stepped away from it. But we have a lot of friends in common, and we both liked it. I was a big fan of his music, and he liked what he was seeing from me on the internet or whatever. I was doing a beat tape, putting it out in the month of March, and the beat tape had a theme of Air Max 1s. So I had reached out to him because he's a big sneakerhead and he loves Air Max 1s. I asked him for the month of March, which people call Air Max month. I had hit him and I said, give me like some of your favorite Air Maxes. I'm going to create art doing the colorways of these Air Maxes, and I'm just going to use them to promote my project. I did the first one, and I sent it to him before I posted it, and he said, do you mind if I use this for a cover? So I said, absolutely. and he was kind of taken back by the fact that I was just willing to give him the art. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. Like I'm trying to get my name out there, and you know, it's a easy connection. Well, then all of that snowballed into, we started using the cover, the original cover, and then I started using the other sneakers that he had sent me pictures of. And we ended up doing artwork for every song on this EP, because he basically hadn't really put out music in a while at that point. And he had a friend, OT the Real, shout out to OT, who basically like bet him that he couldn't complete a project in the span of like a week or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But then it just ended up being like some real like synchronicity. Like we ended up having a really good like creative connection on, you know, what we were doing. And there's a sneaker shop in Philly called Suplex, which is sort of like, are you guys familiar with Flight Club?
Yeah.
In New York.
Fight Club.
So Suplex, for like lack of a better definition, is sort of like the Philly version of Flight Club. They sell, you know what I mean? It's like reselling through them or whatever. But people come through like like when athletes and musicians or whatever come to Philly, they always stop through there. Screwtape's friends with these guys. And they had he was showing them what we were doing together, and they really liked it. So I was like, oh, let's work that into the promo. So I started doing mock-ups of the Suplex website where they're reselling sneakers, but I'm putting the artwork from what we're doing, and like just making it, you know, we're just trying to find creative ways to do promotions or whatever. All of this happened in the span of like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we ended up putting together, and what, you know, Screw is, I don't know what you would call him. He's sort of like the dude to check in with when you get to Philly. So like,
trick.
And, yeah, well, not at that level, not like that, but more like say for example, when the Griselda guys were on their initial run, you know, when Benny was first starting out coming to Philly, it was Screwtape opening up for him. You know what I mean? Like in what J Royale is in Baltimore, Screwtape is that in Philadelphia.
Right.
Okay. As far as this lane, you know, there's bigger artists and there's people that have been around longer than him, but he's, you know, for the Abyss, he is that.
Okay.
And
that's dope.
And so that all went up, and because he is that dude in Philly, that artwork went up and that project got announced. About a week later, Rashid Chappelle had seen it, and he liked it so much, and he told me that he was doing his project with Buck Wild. He was interested in me doing something. So we were working through all of that. And then while I had handed in all the artwork for Rashid and Buck Wild, Screw and I were working on his next EP, which was called Talk to Me Nice. And that was going to be fully produced by True Mentals, and had features from Fast Life and Rome Streets. So at that point, I knew, yeah, absolutely. And at that point, I knew with that one, it's like, all right, now I got to step it up again, because now it's going to have some names attached to it, and I'm trying to gain some traction in this lane. Okay. So we had completed all that artwork, but in the meantime, I had some connection with, like Seth had reached out to me and said that he was like a fan of what I was doing. I think I had actually reached out to him because I always give him so much credit, because like I said, I was trying to push this style in this lane a long time ago. He's the one to me that kind of like shifted the current of this lane, because like art, like I'm saying, like musicians, like, you know, MCs, producers really weren't fucking with the illustrated style before that. You know what I mean? Like once he did, the eyes. Yeah. And photocopy. It was like that mixtapes. Yeah, like everything just looked like a K-Slate mixtape. and people weren't really tapping in. Then Fly God changed all of that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I just hit him and said, like, shout out to you. Thank you for kind of giving this whole lane, a visual identity. You know what I mean? That Fly God cover is literally, that's the Wu-Tang W for this era. You know what I mean? It's
perfectly said.
Whatever you call it, the Black Flag bars, you know what I mean? Or like the Misfits 100%. Logo for any type of subculture.
Yeah, hieroglyphics, all the symbols. Yeah, you see that?
Yeah. I mean, that cover it's actually bigger than everybody that's involved with it. You know what I mean? Like
this is how big it is. I walk down the street and I see somebody with a W Wu-Tang on, and I'd be like, "So," and they yell it back if they're a Wu-Tang fan. I see I saw like 4 or 5 people with a Griselda hoodie on down here, and I just start yelling "do do do." They don't even know where it's coming from. They yell "do do do boom 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 boom." You're definitely correct. That is definitely the W for Continue.
And there's people that have that hoodie that don't know that Sepp did it. You know what I mean? Like, we know, but there's people like
they just
Sepp
think
has
it's
created
cool.
Something that is bigger than him. It's bigger than his own career.
That shit is wild.
So all that to say is, so he had hit me back, let me know that, he was a fan, whatever. And then, or not a fan, but, liked my style or whatever. So that kind of put a battery in my back. And I wanted to show my appreciation. So I flipped the Reject cover and I did it in my style and put it up, just posted it. And it really blew up. And then the next day, it was the day that Fly God is an Awesome God 2 came out.
Dropped,
or before it was about to come out. The second one. And I flipped that cover the next day. I did it, got like the typical handful of people had put up like fire emojis or whatever, like the thing that people do to cover. I went to bed that night, woke up in the middle of the night, and I got a DM from Squat Deadface. And he just, and all it said was the West Effect. That's the only thing it said. Then I realized West shared it, and my following doubled in the span of like 2 hours.
Wow.
And then, after, yeah. Because, he obviously saw that firsthand when he did the first Fly God, Awesome God cover.
Yeah.
And, it blew everything up. After that, then that's kind of just had me on like what's been happening. You know what I mean? Like people just people have caught on to the style. I've, made like pretty good connections with people, and I'm just trying to, do what I do in this lane. I mean, I love the music. I love everything that's going on. And I'm just trying to, I guess, find my way in it, but also I want to like push it forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people to treat their album covers like putting it through the PQ art filter and just keep like drawing somebody's face. And you know what I mean? Like, I want to kind of give like other perspectives on this. And,
but don't undervalue what you did in creating this style though. And my wife and I are both artists and huge fans of what you do. It's taking something that's completely original that nobody's done, nobody's seen, and bringing it into this avenue, and it catches. That's rare. Now, like when I look at it, I see so many different kind of layers of style, like 60s art and graffiti from late 80s, early 90s style, all mixed into this unique new art form that you've created. I mean, it's a completely unique style, and it's 100% hip hop in its formulation and execution. That's rare. And it's something that, when everybody talks about hip hop culture, number one, they're talking about rappers. Number two, they're talking about DJs. A lot of times the visual artists, the graffiti artists and people doing this kind of thing don't get the shine that they need, since really, and this has a lot to do with Sep, but Squat, Sep, Dyer, yourself, there are a lot of people that are getting a lot more shine because rappers are starting to throw that shine towards you guys, and it's because of what you're doing.
Your album cover could make a lot, like it could make the album better. Check it out, like Victor Vaughn, the first Victor Vaughn album, the album cover sucked. You know what I'm saying? The album would have been much better if it was a better album cover. It just had a picture, just like a silhouette of a man, like but it would make, if they reissue it and have another album cover, it'll make that album much more legendary. It was one of my favorite MF Doom albums, yo. So it could make the album better. You know what I'm saying? More people will get drawn to it.
I mean, I think honestly, like, if you take certain, like, I'll use Sep as the example. His art is going to sell somebody's album more than their music is. You know what I mean? Like no disrespect to the artist or whatever, but like, it's just what it is. I mean, the thing that I guess when I say I want to change certain things is, so I agree with that. I think album art, hip hop now, especially underground hip hop, is more significant than it ever has been.
Yep.
I don't think you could even debate that.
No.
Because even like some of the best, like, and I've done some interviews where we talked about like some of the worst album covers ever, like some of my favorite music that I came up on, some of that album art is shit. Or I shouldn't say shit. It just hasn't aged well. So like the best stuff probably was like, really well done photographs. Like the iconic photographs or whatever. But then like
by iconic, you mean pen and pixel master P work.
So the funny thing is, I'm not.
I brought that up. That's a style. I'm dead ass.
I've been saying to people, I want to flip that style.
Yeah,
like, I just want to do it, but clean it up because I always. Are we
talking like the Photoshop tank with the Photoshop piles of money,
the diamonds and shit?
Yep.
All that stuff. Yeah, the big baller,
it's so
pillars, the pretty much the cropped out with the borders on it. But that's a style, though.
It is
exactly.
It is a style.
Exactly. It's a style. It's something that's original, and I think it's one of those ones that you look back and it kind of stood the test of time, because it's iconic to the fact that people, like we're talking about it right now, like you just said, PQ, you're like, yo, I would take that actually and try to flip it and clean it up, put my own touch to it, right? Yeah. And I think a lot of people admire that. We've seen numerous versions and resurrections of album covers in that style over the past 10, 15 years.
PrimoJAB, you and I worked on one for a little while.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Sure did. That's not going anywhere.
I'm gonna say that's just whack.
But what's whack about it? The DIY nature of it?
I don't like it, but I love that Juvenile album cover. No, I don't. I like the music. I don't give a fuck. The diamonds and shit, that shit.
That's what I'm saying. I like the big text with the diamonds in it. Like I think
you could put your own thing in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what's funny about that though is it was a time when, he especially was doing something really unique as far as his own record label and a lot of that stuff. But, in hip hop specifically, unless you were on a major label, you really didn't have access to a lot of the same, outlets, including designers for album covers and things like that. So, what they did was they just said, fuck it, we're going to do our own. And it's a little janky, but that became a style.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know that they were like sitting in the studio going, let's make it look really janky. They were just high as fuck going, put some fucking diamonds on that shit. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and that's fucking fire. Put it out. Yeah. It's funny when we look back at it like now, it's like that's a specific type of album art.
Yeah.
That they created just out of necessity.
Yeah, man. I'm a motherfucker took. I remember I did a album called Adventure Time Rhymes, and I just printed up the Adventure Time background. Then I cut out a picture of myself, pasted it on there, taped it on there. I made a white hat for myself, put it on that bitch, Then I took the Adventure Time logo, cut it out, put it on there, I scanned it. And that's how it worked.
Yep,
you know
scanners.
Hey, yo, boom, I bet PQ could have made that shit in 5 minutes. It took me like 2 hours to do that shit.
Yeah. But it was raw probably, though.
Yeah, it's out there somewhere still. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We'll look it up. We're going to find it.
Hell no, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Oh, yeah.
Whatever, man. That's an artifact, man. I'm going to preserve it. I'll put it on a T-shirt or something, man. I'll send it to you.
All right.
Happy holidays.
And I'm always creating new janky art on Photoshop.
Absolutely. We with that,
Shout out
bad
to All Guns
Photoshop
No Butter.
work.
Shout out to All Guns No Butter for the jankiest shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the cafe fucking hat that he puts on everybody.
Support that.
Yeah. I'm focusing on All Guns No Butter. I'm saying, but yeah, PQ is you draw these covers on the computer, right?
Yeah, I started out doing I would draw them on paper, and then I would scan them into the computer and color them in Photoshop. And then I started using the iPad, and it's still kind of the same process. It's just that I can move, like I wouldn't be able to create in the volume that I did if I was doing everything on pen and paper and then switching it to the iPad.
Now it's so much more work.
Yeah.
Now I bought a Google. I bought a Samsung Galaxy Book Pro, and it's got the touchscreen on it with the stylus. And it's a game changer. It's so much easier than trying to just, constantly trying to color correct stuff throughout especially when you're trying to blow images up and,
But then at the same time, like I would like to get back because I kind of did come up in a little bit of that. I like that, that photocopy punk rock zine style.
Yeah.
So, always like to mess with, like, I don't like to be, crippled by a process.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I always like to switch it up, and I see stuff like, shout out to Greg Rappa, people that just do, what I'm pretty sure is like, Photoshop type of work that is incredible. And I would love to, get back to messing with that a little bit. It's just when you get when people are contacting you for a certain style, you want to accommodate that as much as possible. But I also want to experiment a little bit more as well. And the other thing too is, what we were saying about artists getting their shine is I feel like there's another level that the visual artist can get to in this lane. And that is going past, like I do my thing with like the prints and all of that, but I think that there's a space for visual artists to kind of give their own voice that goes past the level of just being in service to doing album covers and doing, prints of Griselda guys. You know what I mean? Like I think that I don't know. I think that like if you look at some of the, like whether it's like graffiti writers or whatever that kind of came up in early hip hop, they have art careers now, but they are still attached to that subculture. And I think there's going to, what I'm trying to push forward is trying to find, us as artists to kind of tell our own stories and, you know what I mean? Like give our own perspectives through our art. That's not just has to be attached to somebody else's music.
I think you're absolutely saying the right thing. It's definitely more so about creating and owning your own I guess influence, right? Instead of attaching it to somebody else's performance. What you're doing is definitely that. I think as we start going more into this space where, for example, I think everybody throws it around, but we're going to do it now, the metaverse, right? That exists and all these digital spaces, this NFT craze that's come and gone and will probably come back again. I think that's when you're going to see people like yourself really, really start owning things and not just prints, but actually saying, here, this is a skin collection, right? Done by PQ or Kip the Frog or Cappington or whoever all these dudes, everybody's going to have their own color palette they're putting out or whatever the case is. And that's the way to do it by this virtual world that's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that also, now that we've seen, I think, like I was late to the Griselda thing compared to the early fans, but I'm still earlier than other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you right there. You right. Yeah, you right there. But, I mean, yeah.
But it's kind of like Lukey, on the other podcast. I remember when you guys were on that. I think you were talking to A-Sun, and it was when the Griselda. It was when they performed on Fallon.
Yeah.
And you specifically said, like, regardless of how certain people felt about Griselda at that point, that was inherently a good thing for everybody.
Everybody.
Right?
Absolutely.
So me saying that is me saying, I think that we're starting to see, and shout out to the Umbrella guys, because I think as we're starting to see, Griselda has elevated where they've kind of transcended what this abyss is. I think some of like shout out to Mickey Diamond. I think I see what he's doing, and it's like a certain elevation. It's going past this. I don't know what you call it. Like, I think for some artists, there's a cycle of it just goes from one drop to the next.
Yes.
And I feel like with what he's doing, it's creating its own movement inside this thing, and it's happening with plenty of other people. Like Future Wave's definitely doing it with Wave God music. Ty Farris is doing it with Bars Over BS. You know what I mean? Like you're
shout out
like there's a groundswell happening, and I think we're going to start seeing, with you guys, we're starting to see media created around this thing. That's actually from, you're not relying on blogs or Complex or something like that.
Right.
And we're going to start to see businesses growing inside this thing. So all that is to say, I think we're going to start seeing, as it catches on, you might see some artists in this lane, like visual artists, doing a sneaker collab. You know what I mean? Like, I think that because the subculture is there, and these sneaker companies and companies in general, we saw it with Nike, obviously, over the years. We even see it with companies like Red Bull and stuff like that. Red Bull,
because they always look loud.
Yeah, they made a very strong effort in the early to mid 2000s on attaching themselves to subcultures, whether it's skateboarding or whether it's
everything,
hip
hop,
mountain climbing, extreme sports in general. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely right.
Yeah, the whole world.
So I think we're going to start to see everybody in this start to elevate, and I think it's important for us to have our own voices when we're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be great for us to hit up Red Bull right now and be like, yo, sponsor the podcast. We got this, blah, 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 blah. Remember I had a Red Bull backpack. It's crazy how you brought that up. I had a Red Bull backpack in 2004 that's at a basketball court. And the dude said, yo, do you break dance? I'm like, nah. So you got that Red Bull backpack? I said, yeah, I jump out of airplanes.
Hey, man.
It's like, yo, like you had a backpack, Red Bull. It meant something like, you're sponsored by Red Bull.
Something.
You did something wild. Little did he know, I think I took it from somebody at my job. Like, I know I got out of my job, but I think what happened was we had so many displays up in the store that we won the backpack, and I just took it or some shit like that. I don't jump out of airplanes or break dance, nothing like that. It would be great for the culture to be sponsored by something like this. Yeah. Why don't they do it? No, I don't think Red Bull does a lot of that.
They do.
I don't know if they sponsor podcasts, but they sponsor tons of stuff.
They sponsor tons of stuff.
Every company sponsors stuff. Yeah.
Go to redbull.com. First of all, I'll say that. Go to redbull.com only for the informational purposes, and you'll see they have a whole calendar of events that they do year round all over the world. Races, like you said, stunts,
races,
concerts.
I'm joking.
God damn it, Lukey. But yeah. So they, Red Bull is active, and I think that's dope when you have a company like that. I think Vice is another company that's similar to Red Bull, where they put a lot of their money towards putting a spotlight onto authentic cultures that exist out here, and really supporting the people who are the actual voices in it, the actual participants in it. But one thing I am gonna say, man, I ain't rocking with Red Bull, man, because Red Bull's killed my man, Kevin Samuels.
We know that for a fact, man. He probably did them dick pills, man, and fucked that girl. She was fine as a motherfucker, and he met that girl too. Then he probably
what I would like
this setup.
What I would like to see is
that's what happens, son.
More gallery type shows for underground artists. Where people can come out and actually see work. I think it's beneficial because you can cross a lot of boundaries. You can get a lot of the people from the music side to come out to those kind of shows and definitely support. But I'd also like to see more documentaries.
It's about time for one.
And we shout out to Stars Coleman. We had Stars on last week. I'd like to see more filmmakers looking at what's really driving this culture right now.
Yeah.
Not just from the music side, but from the fashion side, from the the merch and from that art side.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, honestly, it's going to take somebody like us or ourselves, the listeners included, everybody. I mean,
I think it's time. I think it's deep enough. There's so many amazing artists right now. You could easily do a 6-part documentary and put it on Amazon or something.
Yeah, we could.
We hear this man talking. Man, we got the right person to shoot this shit too. His name is Karl.
Yeah, looks like this is what we doing.
Everybody can put their own videos in here. PQ do a video, Sep do a video, West do a video, Planet Asia do a video, and make it a 6-part. How do you get into the abyss? Blah, 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 blah. And we talk about the first album, Genesis, how it first started. We have to go back to who? Rock. Then we have to go to Big Ghost. Then we have to go to West Side Gun, Fly God.
No, it depends on how far back you want to go. Like we really got to define what.
I started
when
something.
This era start, right? Yeah, you did. Way to go, Karl.
Where it started? PQ, where it start? Where it start?
When did this start?
So I think it's I think if you have to put a concrete stamp on it, it's Marsburg.
You know what? I can agree with that, but that's not the one that blew up. That's not the one that hit you in the face. The one that hit you in the face was Reloaded. Crimeapple said Reloaded is the Illmatic of our time. You know what I'm saying? Illmatic. Wow, I remember in Club 529 hearing the first track on Reloaded. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm kind of scared, but that from an A to a K to I'm like, oh my God. And I never could say his last rhyme. He always say something different. I was like, yo, this is it. Yeah, so yeah. I think Mossberg is definitely though the first. Yeah.
I think I think it's a weird thing because it's I definitely agree with that with Reloaded. It's sort of like when Marsburg came, that put him in that lineage of like Sean Price and Doom, because I feel like they're sort of like the forefathers of that.
Thank you. That's what I was getting at.
And yeah, like I think it's like Reloaded comes, but then there's all these. It's like the years between Marsburg and Hitler 2. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's like there's these important things happening because you have Reloaded, but then you also have Durag Dynasty. You know, you know, regardless of how a lot of people feel about him, I personally feel like Bronson was sort of a catalyst.
I think so too.
Because,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I am a fan. You know what I mean? Like regardless of how other people may feel about it.
I love Bronson. I think the older Bronson, newer Bronson is kind of like
Yeah. But you know, you have all these things in there. But then, like we said before, once Fly God comes, that's sort of like the groundswell sort of came above the surface for more people to see it. And, the Fly God's what got West and Conway on Combat Jack. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of what got all the like them talking about that. And that's the one thing, like,
shout out Combat Jack.
Like, yeah, shout out Combat Jack.
Remembered imperfection. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eternally.
But I think that's sort of the thing where, there's albums that I like just as much as Fly God. There's albums that I like more than Fly God. But I think that's the one project where it's like, because of that artwork, because of like the leveling up that he did and the guests that he had on that and just everything that was happening, like that project is what, 7 years old at this point, or 6 years old at this point.
That's it.
And I think it was 2016, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And it's sort of like it's never not been talked about. You know what I mean? Like some people have projects that have a shelf life of 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like they release the project, they sell out of the vinyl, and then it's never talked about again. And Fly God's just a different thing. It's always just right there. It's like, it's sort of like a Midnight Marauders or a 36 Chambers.
And I was going to say, it's a lot like Woo when they came out.
Yeah.
Just, hip hop was already having this monumental climb, but there was something about the drop of Enter the 36 that just changed everything. It was different. It was just,
you know what it is? Like Wu-Tang, that run, the 36 Chambers to Wu-Tang Forever run, that was like almost like religion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Facts. It was more than just music. Like you were kind of subscribing to a certain philosophy.
Yeah, you were a part of something.
Yeah.
And
mad tattoos of Wu-Tang symbols I saw during that time, son. Still to this day. You see people getting it. So
absolutely.
And there were so many layers to everything that was happening. Like you had RZA created like every element that was in Wu for the next 5, well, even up until now, was kind of present in that album. It's sort of just like what came to the forefront. You know what I mean? So it's like when he wanted to highlight the real grimy, dusty aspect of his sound, that was present on Meth's album. The real wild shit was on Dirty's. The more soulful side was on Ghosts. You know what I mean? The intellectual chess aspect was on Geniuses.
Yeah.
It's almost like he had it all, and it's like the fader on each, whatever aspect he wanted to show more.
And bring another
exactly.
One
out. Yeah.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah, it was like storytelling, and like I had friends that only had Wu albums. Like they didn't even really music lovers. They weren't listening to anything else. And realistically, although that first run was so dense, if you just want to study music, you're good with those. Like,
absolutely.
You could be on something like the sound, and then you could have a kid that has just been listening to Wu, and then if he gets like a surface level understanding of Supreme Mathematics,
right,
it's a whole new album. You know what I mean?
Like, right.
Oh my God, you right, yo. That made me want to search out Supreme Mathematics. It made me, I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Nas, other people made me be like, I didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. But whenever they dropped the Wu-Tang manual, then like that kind of gave me, the internet was starting too. And then you can go online and you can research it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, that's what Supreme Mathematics is. Let me print this up.
You could ask
pay my little
Jeeves.
10 cents at the 10 cents at the school. I don't know if you had to pay for copies at your school to get. We had to pay for copies at our school, so I had to pay 10 cents a copy. You know what I'm saying? That's just wild as fuck. So yeah, I printed out the Supreme Mathematics and the Supreme Alphabet, and I was like, that's what these motherfuckers talk. Peace to the cats who rock Mac knowledges, Mac 11s.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So
Talk
like,
that shit. Exactly.
Word.
Yeah.
So it made everything make sense. I mean, so you're so correct, PQ. The whole album turns different when you don't think they're like saying nothing.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
That being said, I still think it would be unfortunate if all you ever heard was Wu-Tang, because there was a ton of really great shit in that whole era.
Oh, absolutely.
But I understand exactly what you mean, though. You definitely you had such a dissection of uniqueness all put together, but then separated out and remixed in different ways. They had a completely original formula.
The music, though, the music will give you a whole lot of different dynamics of different genres of music as well, though, from their music. So I can respect that as well. But yeah, you got to give me, I'm missing a lot of good shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if if I listen to Wu-Tang, I wouldn't have heard a lot of good shit. I'm a Backstreet Boys fan, son. Insane. I don't give a fuck. That shit come on in the 90s, I'm gonna be up there singing every word. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be May. Know what I mean? It's gonna be May.
You know, singing every
word. I feel you. I missed out on that whole run, Lukey, but that's
what's up.
I was
raised in the suburbs.
Yeah, you know, that's neither here nor there. You know, that's cool and all. But
tearing out my heart when I'm with you.
Calm down, man. That ain't the Abyss done.
Hey, yo, son, but that shit is dope.
Nah. But anyway, I think right now we've been fortunate, like that similar type of I guess rabbit holing, that similar type of one leading to another. Yeah, thank you, Lukey. Censor you censor you.
Hey, yo, rabbit holing. That does sound kind of wild.
It means nothing, sir. It means nothing. All right, so look, man. Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like this era is almost just like it has that energy, just like that 93, 94, 95 era of where you could hear the collaborations, and then you all of a sudden you in a whole nother chamber finding something brand new. The way that you knew, I think that Fly God album was stamped was going back to what you said, PQ. I mean, Bronson was on it. Bronson was the most I think official feature on there, right? You had Danny Brown on there, but exactly. And that's what I was gonna say. Danny Brown was, you know, he was bubbling and he's doing his thing. You know, he's an international star. But also I think the fact that he had those two on there, it really was showcasing, like you said, that was the level up of him saying, yo, I'm really putting into this album. I really want something. I really want to make an impression with this. And it led to so many lanes being discovered and so many other people finding out about everything that's buried under this abyss. I mean, because honestly, I mean, Benny snapped on that album, right?
Yeah.
Benny went crazy on Shower Shoe Lords. That's one of my favorite Benny verses. Yeah. And you know, now we look at him, we're seeing where he is, and he's at that stage where he's about to go off into the stratosphere. That's what he's been wanting to do.
He's definitely up there
now,
already.
Like you had Wu-Tang heads back then, you also had those duck down heads. You had people that were into
Oh, he froze on us. There he is. Okay.
Here I am. Yeah, no, I was just shouting out. I was like, yeah, back then, you know, it was just Wu, or it wasn't just Wu, but Wu was doing their thing. But you had the Gangstar Foundation, you had Duck Down, you had the whole Boot Camp clique. You know what I mean? The Def Squad. Please, you can't leave Def Squad out of the conversation. But now we got the umbrella. You know, Griselda bust through. Now we got the umbrella here. We got Brown Bag Money. We got the Cloth. We got the Walkers. We got. I mean, all these different groups of people that are out here, Lord Mob, you know, coalescing and forming in these powerhouses. It's a whole new era where you can have a whole playlist dedicated to a certain clique or a certain crew. Yeah. And that's dope. I think that's an amazing thing that we're back almost full circle to that era again.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to shout out the Walkers and Umbrella. I should shout out everybody, but
big up everybody.
The originality of styles within these crews, is incredible. So like, I feel like, you know, like the general, if you had to sort of like stereotype the sound of this era, they would kind of like model it after like a RZA and Havoc template, you would
there
say.
you go.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we touched on that before. Yeah.
At the same time, you have, I feel like, and I really want to shout out Rim for this. Shout out Rim the Villain. I feel like he kind of, even though he was like, you know, the protege of Sean Price, he kind of carries that torch sound wise of like, of a Tribe and Souls of Mischief type of style. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit brighter or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot more, something more charismatic to it. And
absolutely,
I feel like he does that. I feel like Vic Spencer does that. And I would like to see more artists kind of show that side of themselves, because people get it fucked up that like people make it seem like Tribe Called Quest were like burning incense and you know what I mean? Like they made
they were
hard
hippies.
music.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They made hard music. It's just that they had that, you know, they just gave a different perspective on it.
So yeah, I mean, they talking different shit.
They were dudes from Queens. Yeah, they were from Queens. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and they were stamped. They were official. I mean, I think again, unfortunately, at some point, and I think Sunez would talk about this also. But this whole hip hop world has been kind of, you can't have one without the other type joint, you know?
Yeah.
PrimoJAB, go back real quick.
I was frozen again.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Go back again. Go back and say hip hop is like
Google Fiber. But anyway, yeah, man. No, I was just gonna say, man, like at some point there's been too much of a confusion between people telling stories of what they've seen around them, what is real rap, keeping it real, street culture, all these things that have been conflated into the same situation, and that's not what it is. It's so much nuance to all this stuff that's going on out here. There's so many different perspectives, and there is not just one way to interpret it. Tribe Called Quest definitely was beloved by plenty of motherfucking drug dealing, killing thug people. They that's what they like to listen to. They would listen to that while they was bagging up dope and shit in Queens.
Yeah.
Sure. But I mean, it's not like Tribe had to make songs talking about riding down the street, slinging red tops. But it would sound dope. You can keep that Q-tip. You can keep that Q-tip. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like Tribe was, you know, everybody knew the Tribe. You know, Tribe was fun. You know, it's cool to be it's cool to be yourself. I think that's what Stars was saying last time when we were talking to him, and I think that's what you're saying too, PQ. We need more people that want to be themselves when they rhyme it, instead of being what they think artwork, other people want to see.
Copying people's shit.
Yeah,
making
just
the same
be
album
yourself
cover.
in whatever you're doing, producing, rhyming, visual artist, whatever you're doing, you know, own your style.
Shout out to Beans.
You know, don't
Beans
do something just because you think that's whatever. I'm done talking.
Huh?
No, I think that's something that you know, people take what they want from these different artists. The thing that I think like the overarching whatever thing that comes from this is that people can be themselves and they can create this little small business for themselves regardless of their age. You know, like everybody starting in this lane
over 30.
They 100%. I mean, even like the guys that are a little bit younger, like shout out like Starker, YL, my boy Brain Orchestra, all these guys, like they're kind of like testament that the people like Odyssey or like Black Milk or somebody that was doing it when everybody else was going southpaw, that they were kind of they you know what I mean, like their work wasn't in vain because these guys came up on those type of artists.
Yeah, there's great names you dropped.
Facts.
And also the thing that, like, you know, because people take what they want from the Griselda guys, and you know, some white suburban kid that just basically exists on the internet can listen to West Side Gun and pretend that he's, you know what I mean, like like lives the street life. The thing that I take away from those guys is that, like, especially West and Conway, those guys are rap nerds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Conway has that line on From King to a God where he talks about how, like, he was posted up on the block, but he was listening to Mos Def Black on both sides. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like these guys are hit, like, you know, like
they heads,
referencing
man.
Grand Poobah and
Absolutely.
Oh my God, Grand Poobah.
And he
Yeah,
made
that
an
Grand
album with
Poobah
MF
sample
Doom.
was dope on there.
But
yeah,
to
and
make an
Doom.
album with MF Doom, you have to be. He wore the Doom dunks when we went to that show at the Roxy. Yeah, yeah. I had to yell those shits out. No one noticed them shits except me. They was glowing. They was glowing in the thing. So I was like, yo, shout out to the Doom dunks. Yeah. So boom. One of my favorite rap groups of all time was in like the 2000, I guess, 6 to 12 era. It was a 3-man group named Tanya Morgan.
Yeah.
And I listened to The Sunset, their MySpace mixtape, Moonlighting, and Brooklyn Natty to this day almost every week. And it was they were talking about paying back their student loans. Von P got one of the dopest lines ever. Don Will they have line, it's not no drug selling nothing. He said, why wouldn't we turn the fans on instead of taking a dip like a swimming fan? He said, why wouldn't we turn the fans on like instead of taking a dip like a swimming camera on? That's what Von P said. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of clever. Yeah. I said, yeah, I just love that regular guy rap because that's what I was.
Regular guy rap. Yeah,
it was regular because they're talking about
relatable.
Yeah, I ain't trying to get jerked because my girl don't screw, that type of shit. Like it was like a lot of regular because they was being themselves. Mostly they was just being regular dudes, and I really appreciated that shit. And there's hardly no more of that. You know what I mean?
Yo, those
I
guys.
I think there is.
Those guys. First of all, that Tanya Morgan Brooklyn Natty album is a massive, massive influence on my artwork.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
They because like a big part of like before the artwork took off, and you know, I kind of talked about it with what I was doing with Screw Tape. I'm trying to get more into like the marketing, branding of a project, mainly because these projects they're not in rotation long enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the problem right now.
Especially now, with so much coming out all the time.
Absolutely.
And I always reference the summer that Wu-Tang Forever came out.
Yeah.
That was all you saw. Like whether it was at street level or whether it was on MTV. And a big piece of that is the stuff isn't around, like, you know, somebody drops their album, like like I said, it goes away 2 weeks later. You don't have enough time to like live your life to the album. And that's what makes the album significant to you. You know what I mean? Like, like some young kid could make an argument to me that Midnight Marauders isn't a top 5 album, but I have whatever it is, 30 years of life experience of living my life to Midnight Marauders that makes me think, like, you know what I mean? Like literally every time that album comes on,
you get happy.
My brain reacts a certain way to it.
Yeah.
So all that is to say that the Brooklyn Natty album, they created a fictional place because I think it's, you could correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's Von P's from Brooklyn and Dom Will's from Cincinnati.
Don Will and
I'm pretty sure
Ilyas,
and
both
Ilyas,
the Ill Will came with Von P came to make Brooklyn Natty, that's insane, huh?
Yeah, but they created like a map of this town,
a whole map,
Natty, and I was like, oh, that's incredible, that's incredible. And those guys, they came to Philly back in like 2008, 2009. They're part of a bigger crew called the Legendary.
Yes, Spec Boogie and Ken Star, all them guys.
And you know who's part of the Legendary that people don't realize is Illucid from Arm & Hammer. And those guys actually, because my boy Hodge, shout out to Hodge from Dumb High, he's like actually did a lot of music with those guys. He's got a little project with Illucid that came out, I think, in like 2018. But those guys spent a lot of time in Philly and were around, and they did a Legendary show, and it was like 15 dudes that came in. and it wasn't like a Dipset 15 dudes. Like these guys were so polished. When a dude was rhyming, the crew knew his ad libs. You know what I mean? Like it was just so rehearsed, and they're playing in a venue that held like 150 people. And I was like, this is incredible. Shout out to those guys. They were a big deal for me, big influence.
They came down here to the Apache after they dropped. I seen them like 4 times, but they came to the Apache after they dropped Brooklyn Natty, and they had the Hardcore Gentleman song, which is like so hilarious. But I was rapping every word with them niggas, man. Like that was probably one of the best shows I ever seen. Don Will's mic fucked up, and he threw it to Von P. Von P. They were exchanging mics because the mic was low. Yeah, and they did I can't believe it was We Just Arrived. What were y'all too? We Just Arrived. And he said something we on the road to pain. If I forget, he said, what the fuck is the train? I said, Blue, oh man, oh my God, you're taking me back, Pecue. I can't believe you like Tanya Morgan. Shout out to Sam Buck too. He's a big Tanya Morgan fan as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why they broke up and only got 2 members, but the 3-member group rivaled the Locks to me, but regular niggas.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
They were incredible.
They were definitely, they had dope merch. If y'all have not listened to Brooklyn Natty or the Moonlighting is definitely not really mixed that well. But Brooklyn Natty, that album right there is a lot fun. It's really fun. Hardcore Gentleman is a funny ass song. Oh my God, but the whole blues on the album, that's probably the only famous guy on it got on it, huh? That's it.
Oh wow.
I think so. Yeah.
But I'm Bad from Moonlighting. Man, that was fucking. When I saw that video, which Ilyas directed that video, I was just blew. That, like I said, Ghetto Socks. Shout out to my homie Ghetto Socks. Tanya Morgan, Sean Price, when he made those albums with Ninth Wonder. All that shit when people said hip hop was dead to me. I'm like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
Yeah.
Like, word.
It was definitely harder to find projects like that run from like 05 to 2010. That was definitely it was murky water. But
absolutely,
from a regional standpoint, shout out to underground hip hop in Detroit at that time, because I feel like a lot of what we're seeing now, because they made very street centered music that was real hard music, but it was ultra creative. You know what I mean? So like you had like all the Guilty Simpson shit.
Yeah, Guilty Simpson.
All the Black Milk shit, the Elzai Witness My Growth mixtape. Holy shit! You've taken me back. How did I forget about it? I didn't forget about it. We ain't just talked about it.
Oh man, before Elzai came out with the preface, he had was it called Eurostep?
Yeah, Eurostep. Eurostep. It's yeah, a lot of those songs in the preface was on that album, like Motown 25.
Yeah,
and he went on tour to Europe and he had that shit.
Yeah, the original version of Fire.
Yes,
because I think when it was on the preface, it was like a posse cut.
Yeah,
it
with
was
Danny
like a
Brown.
remix.
I found the tree. I hit the tree like George in the jungle. That's Danny Brown and shit. Yeah,
Danny
Brown.
Man,
yeah, he's hilarious. Yeah, but all that Black Milk shit touched back then was immaculate. Fat Ray, Fat Cat, all that.
Shit. Wait, was it the Black Milk and Fat Ray album where they had that song Focus and it had that crazy Elzai verse on it?
I believe so. I gotta Google it because I don't have that no more. I had it on CD.
Yeah,
that's like 2 apartments ago. Fat Ray. What's it? Caltroit? You familiar with Caltroit?
Yep. Bishop Lamont. Yeah.
Yes, that was amazing. Or
Bishop Lamont.
Just the only the songs that only the good songs were amazing. How about that? It was like okay, but the good songs were immaculate. You cut out some of the bad songs. Then like there goes Fat Ray and Black Milk. I don't know. Bruiser Wolf? That's a new song.
Yeah, Bruiser Wolf.
Yep.
The Bruiser Brigade, all them dudes.
Bruiser Wolf.
Dope head.
Bruiser Wolf is dope. He's just a, like real original, and it's like one of those things where when I'm not super tapped into his music, but it's kind of like the fact that I don't know. You know how sometimes you hear somebody rhyme and it's like, why do you say that? You know what I mean? It's like sort of like the fact that he made the decision to use that line. It's like, why did he do that? He has this line on this one song where he says, I treat my dogs better than white people do theirs or something like that.
That shit crazy. That shit is wild, man. I appreciate those lines the most. They have this rapper named No Emotion. I appreciate a lot of rhymes that people can't say anymore because it's not socially acceptable. I remember he said, I put super glue on my lips when I kissed her. I called your girlfriend's vagina Rihanna while I fisted her. I was like, what?
Huh. All right.
I was like, what? Yeah, he said, where's Waldo? Freeze time like Galdo. I'm like, yo, Dragon Ball Z reference? What?
Oh, that's the dude. That's his name?
Yeah. Where's Waldo?
I didn't even know that was his name.
I knew it because I'm a super nerd. But then
he just get killed all the time. He the dude that get killed all the time. That's all
murdered.
I know him as. Yeah.
But I messaged this man on I think it was Facebook. Pretty sure it was Facebook. When he said, when the Anunnaki come, they're gonna make us mine for gold. He just yelled it. I was like, what? So I said, bro, who the fuck are he? Wore a gold mask at the time. He still does sometimes, but I was like, yo, why would you say that? Like, what put that in your mind? Like I treat my dogs better than white people. Why would you say that? Like, what? Like, why would you say? Like, why are you like? That's not hot, but to me, that's the hottest shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's funny.
You got to be creative, sort of like man. You got to be a creative.
It's sort of
rhymer.
like when you have people make beats and they just try, like, you know what I mean? Like they just leave a sample a little bit offbeat on purpose. Like the quirkiness is always what gets me. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to hear, like I'm past the level of, like there's people that can rhyme so incredible, but it's almost like so good that it's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? It's like so metered.
You're talking about that new Black Thought album.
I'm not. I actually I like it quite a bit.
I like it a lot too, but at the same time, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to slander Black Thought, but I feel like at a certain level, Black Thought is rhyming at such a pure form that it's really just to say that he can rhyme at that caliber, right? He's not making a song for you to be like, oh yeah, this is an easy listening song. I'm just bopping my head to. Nah,
Black Thought set an expectation level.
Yeah, Black Thought came on that beat and said, I'm going to destroy this beat and I'm gonna rhyme in a crazy type of way. I'm gonna show rappers what need to be done.
Yeah,
and I love that shit, man.
And I think that he's still, I think he's going to have that chip on his shoulder for the rest of his career, because I think he's kind of, he kind of came up in a time, you know what I mean? Like he should have been part of Cool G Rap and Rakim, and that's who I think he's competing with to a certain point. But then at the same time, like I love seeing what like Meth is doing now. Meth, like and Meth is always that dude that, you know, he can kill it, but he's definitely a stylist. It's just like I enjoy, like especially on Wu-Tang Forever. I love all the Meth verses on Wu-Tang Forever. I'm a big fan of Wu-Tang Forever because you really get to see it was overshadowed the fact that Meth, Ray, and Ghost transcended what they had already done. And the ghost face that we came to acknowledge is like, you know, like a GOAT candidate. That Ghost was there on Wu-Tang Forever.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
MGM, like, Older Gods, all that. The way they approached the mic on Wu-Tang Forever, it was definitely they showed ownership. They were definitely trying to make a mark, and they were trying to top what they did before. And like you said, I think they were really trying to create this religion almost behind Wu-Tang. They were like, look, no, we're standing on this. We really pushing this Wu-Tang heavy.
That was
And
RZA and his brother.
we're undeniable. Oh, shout out Inspector Deck. He just put out an ill-ass tape where he's just jacking people for beats, rhyming crazy. Inspector Deck's another one that, I mean, we can go down the Wu roster and talk about, you know, all the normal ones, but Inspector Deck is arguably one of the illest writers in the clan. The songs, the quotables that you know from Inspector Deck are the quotables of Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? I bomb atomically, you know, that's Inspector Deck.
I crystal down the line so you can sniff it.
Yep, Inspector Deck. Life as a shorty shouldn't be so rough. Inspector Deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Deck
is off good too.
Yeah, Deck is a master when it comes to setting off rhymes. Absolutely. I mean, the Wu-Tang Clan was just. I think
different.
We're never gonna not talk about the Wu-Tang Clan and their impact on dope hip hop and just hip hop music in general, man. All the uniqueness of their styles, every single one of them, the whole clan, they came through and they own shit.
But there again, you know, just to tie back into what PQ was saying earlier, though, when you've got collectives like the Walkers and you've got the Umbrella and you've got Brown Bag Money and everybody is so diverse in those, I think that's a blueprint that was started with Wu-Tang.
Absolutely.
You know, and when we start to kind of mix and match what's going on with all of these unique styles, you get so much material out of it.
Man.
And I appreciate it like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Word.
Absolutely.
I don't have to listen to the radio ever again. You know what I'm saying?
Never.
Word, like
no, you can have. I mean, you know what I kind of equate it to is like if you think of the music industry as Walmart, and for a long number of years, it was like people were trying to conform so that they could get their product sold in Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
And now what we have going on, we have like an organic farmer's market where everybody, you know what I mean? Like, so it's this guy makes like the craziest guacamole that he's bringing to the table that he's got at his table. And then this other dude over here is just growing produce. And that's kind of like the metaphor I have for it.
No, it's a
like,
great
that is
you can realistically have, you know, like you, and there's a whole economy that we have on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's sort of like, I don't know, like, I know like in Philly, it's a thing where people just make like meals at their house. And you know what I mean? Like you can cash app somebody. And,
sell plates.
And
sell plates. Yeah.
And they look good
it's like,
fuck,
and it's like the mentality is like, all right, let's say you get a plate for $20. Well, that $20 should circulate in the community 5 times before before it leaves the community. And that's going to be what's keeping the money moving in there. I think that's sort of like what we have going on to us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I know when I do, like, you know, on top of what I purchase on my own, I kind of like, whenever I do a print drop, I always set aside a certain percentage of my profits that I'm going to support artists from it. You know what I mean? Like it's because you got to keep that economy moving.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to buy somebody's shit just out of charity, but you know what I mean? Like if I see that somebody's doing their thing, because I'm not, you know, admittedly, I'm not like the craziest vinyl collector like I used to be. You know, first of all, the vinyl's way too expensive now. It's hard for me to.
And you never get them too.
Stop.
Yo, so that's the other thing. That's the other thing that I actually had in my mind that I did want to bring up, because I kind of had a feeling, you know, it's sort of like the dirty little secret of all of this that everybody makes a joke about it. I think that that's something when I talk about people coming up with businesses, that's going to be something that I think can be improved upon. I know, like, even for myself, I'm trying to work on pause, like the back end like infrastructure of what I have going on with like my
good pause.
my operation.
Preemptive pause.
Shut up,
Lukey. But you know what I mean? Like trying to make sure that I can run what I'm doing as a sort of like a more organized thing, because I don't want to handle sales through like, you know, I get too unorganized, and like sales through DMs and stuff like that. I want to have everything on point, and I feel like that's going to be also the next level of people can do that. You know what I mean? Like this Bandcamp thing is going to start charging people a lot more money, so people should probably start focusing on moving shit to their website. And but then that's the other thing though. But then when everybody's on their own website, can we create some sort of network where all of our websites are kind of like existing in the same
the Abyss podcast
and here we go. Well, no, not only that. I mean, here we go. Well done, PQ. You've just done what we call full circle around this motherfucker. Essentially, that's what I was talking about, where you were talking about earlier with what artists are going to do and have their ownership, visual artists, right? And I was saying, yeah, that's the metaverse. That's what's eventually going to evolve. We are already creating it in the real world, which is even better. We have our own farmers market. The Abyss supports its own. We have our community. We all shop with each other. You know, I'll get an album cover. I'll get some beats from somebody. They buy an album cover from somebody else. They get a verse from somebody. I'm rocking somebody merch. You know, whatever the case is, we all support each other. And that's the best thing I think that's come out of this whole time is the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Yeah.
He'll be back.
He froze on us again.
He'll be back.
He's going to be so disappointed.
And I am back. Yeah.
It was a good pause face, though.
Yeah, but Joe, I was just saying, that's one of the things I think that is the best about this time, right? Is that we have stepped away from everybody trying to conform to get your product into the Walmart to now that we've stepped out, we're back to mom and pop operations.
Yeah.
And we built our own little town, our own little flea market where we run everything, where we got the rules going. We're a bunch of people that are self-motivated businessmen. Think of all the people like a Mickey Diamond, like Wes, like Drew, Fahim. All these people are people that are making a living, a very good living from this music. And it's, you know, and it's only because of the fans supporting and shopping. You know what I mean?
Some of these guys got less than 20,000 followers. You know what I'm
I'm trying to tell you.
That makes drill music, or someone else that
got a millions.
Yeah, they're not making as much money because
not at all.
They don't sell physicals. They're scamming and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
They don't sell. Their music does not sell physicals. A lot of young people, a lot of laptops don't have CD drives. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely kept mine. I need that.
My shit old as fuck. It got CD. It don't even play Blu-rays. You know what I'm saying? My other one plays Blu-rays, not this one right here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
So it's like, but I love it. You know what I'm saying?
All that stuff's going to come around full circle, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the way that it did it with vinyl and cassettes. I was actually about a month ago. I went into the Urban Outfitters in Philly, and they have a whole section of CDs now. So like CDs now are the vintage, you know what I mean, like hipster type of thing.
That I've got a collection of.
The thing that's crazy though is like, I mean, I love CDs. So like,
same.
You can, and that's when I say like artists that can kind of get their thing moving. Like you can tell your story in the, like if you invest in like, you know what I mean, like get a couple pages booklet in your CD.
Yes, please.
You create a comic book that you can put in there. I mean, like people did some of the best shit ever with CDs in the 90s. So you can keep that type of thing moving. Yeah,
all the lyrics in the book.
Every lyric.
Like
but then the artwork that was behind that was an extension of what you got off of the cover. So not only were you getting like this really dope album artwork from the cover, but then you'd open it up and see either variants or a continuation of that artwork. You know, so yeah, I mean, it was visually, it was so much more.
Pause. I don't really see my crotch, but I was gonna pull out my CD
every
real quick.
time, man. Every time.
And shout out to Ty Farris, because what him and I had worked together on starting last year. There's 4 of them out now, but you know, for the whole No Cosign Just Cocaine series.
Yeah.
We did collector's versions of the album where I did custom artwork for the first. It started out with the first 3. Now we moved to 4. We actually have the entire thing planned out. But if you get the collector's edition, it's got a booklet inside where it talks about the making of the project, some of his favorite bars from the project. You know what I mean? Like
it's more incentive to buy it.
Yeah, he's always pushing the envelope with that thing. It's actually been really cool to see the Bars Over BS brand kind of evolve, especially over the last year where he started releasing other people's music.
And, that's the dope
and
shit.
Especially somebody that is on such a level already lyrically and vocally. But
he's got his own thing.
You know what I mean? It's not like he needs gimmicks, but yet he still pushes the envelope to give so much extra content. Yeah, we're hoping he's going to come on for the release of 5. We talked about it. So
yeah, that would be dope. That would be real dope.
My shit was it's a 2C double CD. You open that bitch up, and it had 2 different sides of shit on there. I don't even have no copies left, and it had 2 different CDs with 2 different things pressed on the CD. You know what I'm saying? With planets and all type of shit. And he had Galactus. Shout out to Gabriel Cortez. You know what I'm saying? Word. But I always want to make it word the poster. But the CD was made to be like, okay, you get more than just songs. You get all the instrumentals with it as well. You know what I'm saying? And then if you download it on Bandcamp, you get all the WAV files. Like you get,
oh wow,
you can really fuck with it. Like it's not MP3, so that's why I priced it so high. And it was actually a good deal. T-shirt, poster, sticker, and double CD. I think it's for $85. I think it's what it was. But it was incentive to like really like buy the shit. Just like the Ty Farris shit that you do. That's incentive to buy it. And it definitely brings you back when you used to wait in line for a fucking CD. Like or a tape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is we designed it from the beginning, and I'm not letting the cat out of the bag because I saw he shared it on Bars Over BS, but we designed all the CDs. When you get all 6 volumes, you'll be able to put them together.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and
all 6.
That is the shit.
There's gonna be 6 of them. Oh wow. Shit.
I mean, I can edit that out.
Yeah,
I can.
It's already out here. It's on the website. Great.
Yeah.
Ty,
that's dope.
You got to come on the show now, Ty. You got to explain yourself.
Yeah, maybe it's 5. But it's
no, you're in a safe place here. It's just
who watches who watches this far into a podcast?
I'm really lying.
Only like 6 people.
Yeah.
Every 3 days.
I'm really lying. Gonna have a field day. Popovich gonna have a field day. Yeah. Are they gonna be like, oh shit, word.
Definitely.
Boom. So sorry.
I got a little bit of music with Ty too.
Actually, I wanted to get into that because I heard you making beats.
Yeah.
And actually, it was shout out to Sunya, as Sunya's told us that you were quite
shout
the beat
out to
maker.
him that he
he knows everything.
Well, we were talking about that dope album or the book cover.
The book covers that you've done for him, yeah.
Oh yeah. That was a huge honor. And actually, his original. First of all, you guys, specifically Lukey and Sunya's, have coined the terms for this culture. You know what I mean? It's either the abyss or the invisible renaissance.
That's a bit.
His first book on that filtered reel was kind of like my introduction to a lot of it. You know what I mean? As far as like going past surface level, put me onto a lot of artists that got me to, you know what I mean? Like dig a little bit deeper into this. So him and I had been in contact for a while about possibly doing something together, but he reached out to me last summer and told me that he was doing this book and he wanted me to do the artwork. And I was taken back because that's a huge deal. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of like has like a certain, I don't know, like an elder statesman type of role in all of this. And you know what I mean? It's always been real dope because his it seems like as I've gotten into new artists in this lane, it's like serendipity that they actually did one of their long interviews with him, and it tapped me further into their music. You know what I mean? Like it happened when I got into Rome. It happened when I got into Eddie Kane and Blue. You know, all these guys. So that was really cool. But yeah, I actually started doing beats before I was doing artwork.
Nice.
I've been doing beats for a while, and it just so you know, I've been doing both at the same time. Like I said, I connected with Screw Tape because I was promoting my beat tape that I was putting out. It just maybe in the last like 6 months to a year, I started working with MCs again, and luckily because of the artwork, it's gotten people to pay attention, and people are willing to actually pay attention to my beats because you know what I mean. It's a crowded market for you know, and I never really felt comfortable with being the guy that just DMs a bunch of people and you know what I mean is trying to hound people to listen to my music or whatever. So it's all happened through like organic relationships for the most part. But yeah, I got some music coming with Ty. Got a song with Water.
Nice. Yeah, we had Water.
Shout out to Water.
Yeah.
My
it's
guy.
actually got a project that I've been slowly putting together. I'm trying to get, you know, in the vein of that Brooklyn Addy thing, I'm trying to kind of build a little bit of a world around it. So it's been kind of a slow burn. I'm not one of these guys that can just get a bunch of verses and then mix and master my project and have it out soon. I got to kind of take my time and but I got Water and A-Sun on a track.
Nice. Shout out to A-Sun.
It's real dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Brooklyn Addy.
Yeah. Yo, this is gonna be dope.
Addy. Yeah, I'm just taken back for the fact that I mean, everybody knows a lot about certain things, man, but your knowledge of hip hop is pretty dope. And bro, it does my heart joy that someone else knows about that three-headed monster, Tanya Morgan. Because a lot of people don't know about them niggas like that. They just don't know. I'm at work, you know what I'm saying, playing that shit. You said you try to Brooklyn Addy this shit, the Brooklyn Addy Little Ducks and all that shit. That shit, to this day, that's still one of my favorite albums, yo.
Yeah.
It just, they had a website where you go to Brooklyn Addy, you know what I'm saying? Where it's funny.
It was crazy.
It was wild. That was MySpace. Their MySpace mixtape was fucking great.
Yeah.
Word.
Well, I think too, and that's what I mean. Like, you know, Primo, like when you're talking about the metaverse, like, do you remember on the Wu-Tang Forever C when they had the enhanced CD and you could take like a tour of the mansion? Like that's the type of shit that we're going to be able to do at our level. You know what I mean? We're not going to need loud records to fund that for us.
$1 million, yeah.
Like you, and that's where I see like the floodgates opening on just being creative and what we can get out there. But yeah, that's a big thing for me, Lukey. Like I exist in this lane, but I do like to let people know that, you know what I mean? I have been around for a little bit. So I have more so for the fact of like, I think it's good to have different perspectives, whether that's culturally, whether that's geographically, or whether age-wise. Like I think it's really dope that you know, like Mav has been pretty open about that he's you know, older than the rest of his, you know what I mean, like his crew in the Claw. So Karl, like but I think that's crazy. I think that's so dope. Yeah. I think that's incredible that, you know, like the fact that the age gap, like, you know how it's like that kind of like best kept secret that Jay-Z, by the time Jay-Z came out in 96, people saw, say, like Kane and Rakim as being old and they were done. And Jay-Z is the same age as them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And he was their little done. He was their little guy.
Yeah,
you know
like a year younger, maybe.
Yeah.
And I feel like really cool that the age gap that we have going on right now is like a 25-year age. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody wants to put out a project and they're like 60 years old, as long as they're not acting like a 19-year-old, like,
you fine.
And to bring it back to art, people like Picasso, people like Dali, they hit their prime when they were in their 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It
like
was the
Muggs,
years of experience that really helped.
Yeah. Look what Muggs is doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Still
he's
fire.
He's on a run. I mean, do you see, like, what's Alchemist? Maybe like 44, 45 years old?
Probably
close,
about 44.
Do you see him being...
Is Muggs' disciple.
Yes.
That's what I was. So
So do you see Alchemist in Evidence not being relevant, like not having a relevant point of view in 10 years?
Take him over Hit Boy.
Oh yeah, any day.
I mean, but you know, shout out to Hit Boy though.
Yeah, shout out Hit Boy.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I think it's actually kind of cool what Hit Boy did for Nas. You know what I mean? Like, gave some relevance to the youth. But I would love to see Nas do a full project with Havoc or Alchemist or even Muggs or something.
Future Wave or somebody. Yeah. Something like, Warren. I think the Zach Morris effect is totally over. I say the Zach Morris effect because if y'all familiar by Saved by the Bell, it wasn't cool to go to school and do your homework. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't cool. That wasn't cool. Nowadays, it's cool to be smart. It's cool to like make money. It's cool to go to work. It's cool to do a lot of regular square shit. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Like you can do. So the age gap is irrelevant, like you said.
Yeah. And it's cool. And you know, shout out to the Locks. Like what they did on that Versus last year, they showed that it's cool to actually care about your shit. You know what I mean? Like people. I always thought that was so whack in like 2010, 2009, when artists would go up and they would just pretend to not know what else is going on and they just pay attention to their own shit. They would say they don't even listen to rap. Like
all that I'm not a rapper shit. That whole stupidness.
It's so like never at a point with like my main crew of friends, I've been friends with them since I was like 14 years old.
Word.
Never in any of this was being unintelligent cool. You know what I mean? Like I always came up with a group of friends that just wanted to know shit. like why not? Why would you want to like be deliberately ignorant?
It's not
so
cool.
Stupid. So to see Jada particularly put all that energy behind that performance, you know that they rehearsed a good amount of that, and you know, like if not rehearsed, had a battle plan. And obviously it paid off.
It did.
And you know, like, you know, I love Cam. I love I was a huge fan of the Dipset run, but it definitely it definitely kind of like muddied the water on how I felt.
It really did.
That night was the Locks' night.
And and you know, like, I don't know, like, care. Like I don't. It's the only thing I could say. Like, if you're gonna put something into your craft, and it's a weird thing because, like, you know, we talked about Kobe earlier. I'm a massive Kobe fan, and he talked about, you know, you talk about like the 1,000 shots or making 1,000 shots and all that. It's a weird thing as an artist because, especially in hip hop, it's almost like sometimes, you know, to go back to Black Thought, when you get the more technically proficient you get, whether it's MCing, whether it's producing, whether it's doing visual art, sometimes it's like the more polished and clean you get with it, it's not as good for the for the result. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Like RZA's lack of skill, or the fact that he didn't fully know what he was doing on 36 Chambers. He was kind of like learning on the job, made it sound so amazing. Like you listen to Bring the Ruckus. I listen to it now, like now that I know how to make beats and everything, I'm like, he shouldn't have been doing this. You know what I mean? Like it's out of key, it's off beat. Yeah. Especially Doom broke every rule.
He really
Doom
did.
chopped drums off another dude's album, like a rap album, and then said it on the record. He said, "I chopped these drums off Truly Yours G-Rap."
G-Rap, yeah.
The unique thing about Doom in that sense, though, is Doom did it on purpose.
Yeah,
like a large part of the punk movement in the 60s and 70s was garage bands that were just fucking around and really didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it became a movement. Right. And so, like with Doom, he intentionally fucked up all the rules because, he had background in hip hop and had gone the normal route. And this was him completely just enjoying the personified villain role.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it completely wrong and still win and still, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And the thing with him too is like, it was significant because he was doing it in contrast to probably the most polished time we've ever had in hip hop. You know what I mean? It was during the Puffy era.
Yep.
And his
the mega hit
whatever era. And Doom doing that, his like whatever band of criminals that he had doing it with him were like he was recording those with Bobbito, he was recording them with Stretch, and they were getting distributed by Bobbito. You know what I mean? It kind of made it like it was this whole like heist thing that was happening at the time.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but that's when I say like care, I just mean like don't be like willy-nilly about just like recording your shit and then just drop. Like it's cool to do stuff like that. Like I'm a fan. Like Karl, like you said, I came up on punk. I wanted to get the demos of Nirvana songs when I was younger. You know what I mean? I love all of that shit. I'm a nerd, but at the same time, like if I'm gonna be a consumer of your music, care about how I am receiving that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's going to make the difference of, absolutely. Yeah. Big pause. But it's going to make the difference of somebody that's going to be a fan of you for 6 months and a lifelong fan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It hits a point where, there's people, because we're in this closed lane, there's people that spend a lot of money on Czarface records every year.
Oh yeah.
You're year after year. And, same thing with Run the Jewels. Like those guys put out their albums for free and then create like really, really high end merch.
Yeah.
And it's a full experience. It's like, just on a subculture level, you're kind of, their fans, by being fans of them, are sort of telling the world about themselves by wearing a Run the Jewel shirt or a Griselda shirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. So.
Czarface is in Journey.
That means something.
Hot Topic in all place. Like shout out. I forget the other place I seen Czarface. I'm like, yo, I'm friends with this dude on my on a Facebook. I've been friends with Seamus Ryan for like 8 years on Facebook, and I got Czarface. Shit, and I'm like, yo, this is God Complex shit using the Transformers theme, and this dude got his shit in like Journeys, or I'm like, that is amazing to me. Like,
and the thing that's dope about those guys too is like, to in the vein of can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, one of my earbuds went. And get it back to charging, but like in the vein of like a Sean Price or a Doom or Rock Marciano, like those guys kind of gave themselves a second lease on life as far as their career goes, so that's really dope. Like to think that white kid from Boston was going to be making like a certain significant rap career. I'm sure his family was not very happy with his choice in career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the C.
Can't hear you.
We lost you. Your other earbud.
Oh no!
Out.
Like,
there you go. You're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going out for a second. You're back though.
I'm not on the buds. Can you guys?
We can hear you. You're good.
Okay. But like that, like, would you say that Czarface is the most significant thing that Deck has done post the W?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like outside of the original run, it's super happy for those guys, and they make, as far as I'm not always tapped into all the music that they do because they put out a lot, and it's just I'm so steeped in this lane right now, but they definitely put out a good product as far as like the packaging and yeah, and the merch and everything.
So indeed, shout out to 7L for the soundscape of that whole entire movement. He actually gets looked over a lot because you think Czarface is definitely just Deck and esoteric, but 7L is like in the background. But 7L,
hey, I'm here too.
Hey, 7L, I'm here. Hey guys,
I think of the three of them. I will never discount. I think the contribution from all three of them as far as making Czarface what it is. Definitely.
You're a hip hop connoisseur, PrimoJAB. Like all three of us, we are well versed in the realm of hip hop. Yes, exactly. But some people don't know about the God. Yeah. The people don't know about the complex and shit and other shit. The esoteric and 7L. You can actually go on there right now and listen to esoteric and 7L records. But people like sometimes don't see 7L. They got the keys, the Czarface keys as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man, but he puts together a pretty dope soundscape over there. So,
and to get back to the business thing, like, shout out to 7L for creating Get On Down. I think he just opened up a new record store in Boston.
Yeah,
nice. It's in a vein of all those things. But it's
Get
funny.
On Down to 7L.
What's that?
Get On Down to 7L.
Yeah. I think he's got partners, but when they did their original run, 7L was on Combat Jack. Like he, how Combat Jack would let somebody come on and like just do their like a little 5-minute bit.
Yeah.
He was interviewing these guys, and then and they were talking about Get On Down. That was before I really knew about it. And I heard him say, and I'm in a group, I'm in a group 7L and Esoteric. This is, prior to Czarface. I was like, oh, that's crazy that, you know what I mean? Like, because they were revolutionary in what they were putting out.
Yeah.
Like those collector's editions of like, they did the Far Side. They put out like the whole Far Side album on 7 inches, and they because the Far Side cover's crazy for Bizarre. And they put it out as like a 900-piece jigsaw puzzle.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's
I would never finish that shit. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it's a funny thing because I listen to it's not always on, but I would listen to the Vinny Paz podcast a lot, the Broad Street Breakdown. And he would talk about how as they've gotten further in their careers, as you mentioned, like God Complex, Paz would say that they acknowledge that they probably should have traded names at some point, because if Esoteric, he's like a massive Star Wars fan.
True indeed.
Huge.
And Vinny Paz, obviously like a lot of his stuff is like, some sort of like indifferent, some sort of like contradiction to religion or whatever. So
true indeed.
Jedi mind should have been God Complex.
Yeah.
Jedi mind trick.
Wow.
I said, sever you with the he said, sever you with the saber. My thoughts are black, like I'm channeling my inner Vader or some shit like that. That's like over there. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker is going. He's going off. Yeah, because I'm just Today I watched Star Wars today, so like boom,
Watched that shit yesterday. Absolutely.
Yeah, why was it on TV? I don't know why.
I don't know. It was just on for some reason. Okay, so I thought it was just me. Okay.
Every time I see it, I gotta watch it.
Gotta watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why. That shit's stupid. I don't know, man.
What?
I got tapped in again because I got my Disney Plus subscription.
Yeah.
And after I finished all of that, well, I did a project with Disney.
Really?
Oh wow.
So Ice Age?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they have they put out a run of shorts because there's a little character that they would show in the beginning of Ice Age, Scrat.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little, if you go on Disney Plus, I think it's called Tales, and it's like a whole run of like 2-minute short, like animated shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a beat for one of the animated shorts.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, just happened to cross paths with a guy. Shout out Matt Munn. He was at the time he was working for a studio that got bought out by Disney, and they needed music, and him and I had just connected at that point. So I did like a little. I basically did my play of the drums from Story to Tell. Like the Al Green drums, but played them all original, no samples on that. So
you play?
What's that? Oh no! I just programmed original sounds.
Okay.
And flipped it. But I got a Disney Plus subscription just because why not? I wanted to
check it out.
My credits, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I got back into all the whole Star Wars universe, and then. But then Lukey, because remember when you and I first connected, and I did the Winter Soldier cover for you and Mondo.
Yeah.
And I started getting into all the all the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
So it was I at the time that I did the cover, I didn't know anything about Winter Soldier.
Nothing?
And then I haven't been a comic book head since I was like 9 years old.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
But now it's got me tapping into all the Marvel shit now.
It's deep. There's
See?
Yeah, good.
A lot.
The Winter Soldier, Captain America is probably my favorite Marvel movie. The fight sequences were fucking ridiculous. That knife with the soldier with Bucky Barnes, that knife. I don't know how he didn't stab Cap a couple times, man. But that's my favorite Marvel movie, other than like the the regular ones like Iron Man 1. Black Panther. That's it. Yeah, I like but that Winter Soldier shit with Falcon. Oh,
yeah, it was a good series.
Yeah. Oh, it was a good series too. Winter Soldier and Falcon too. Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Once you step into the world, you just want to know everything. You know what I mean? So I'm only in like phase 2 right now.
Okay.
That's cool. You got all kinds of dope shit coming up.
Yeah, but I was early on. Like I watched the original X-Men when it came out back in like 2000, and I watched all the shit that was on Netflix. That now I think they moved it over to Disney Plus. Like all the
Daredevil. Yeah. Punisher. Yeah, those series were great, and actually they're starting them up again.
Okay.
So they're gonna do Daredevil Reborn, and that should be coming out next year, I think. And it's gonna have the same Charlie Cox is coming back.
Charlie Cox. That's my dude, though.
It's his name, damn it.
Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin is coming back.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I thought that was real cool, especially since because what was it? It was Daredevil.
It was Daredevil.
Jessica Jones.
Luke Cage. Punisher.
And the Punisher, and they were going to be the Defenders. Yeah,
Iron Fist.
And then the Defenders.
Yeah. But that was always cool to me, especially because it all took place in New York and was like, you know what I mean?
Like
Queens, Harlem.
Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
That's why I ain't fuck with DC like that, because I was like,
they were all made up places.
Yeah, Coast City, Gotham,
Star City,
Central City, Star City. What the fuck?
Bloodhaven,
man.
Metropolis.
1472 Gray Markham Lane was fucking the address of fucking the Xavier School of the Gifted. Harlem, New York, Hell's Kitchen, I thought that shit was real. Being a fucking 7, 8-year-old, I thought I could go there and see Spider-Man go like this, like swing, like oh shit, word. I steal something, then like someone try to like kidnap me, and like take me to jail or some shit. I thought that shit was real. They had real addresses, real names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stan Lee was in the comic book sometimes. I'm like, yo, this shit is, man, I can't wait to go to New York so I can just like fuck around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm a giant nerd, so I got Star Wars shit up here. I got comic book, Marvel shit, DC. Yeah, I'm a dork.
DC will always be bigger than Marvel to me, because they have the big two. Then everything after the big two is like, I think the big two, there ain't nothing bigger. I don't think no one can get bigger than the big two. Even though Superman movies suck, to me, I think I like them, but they're not good. Batman, Superman, ain't nobody bigger than them, man.
Yeah, but you put them both in a movie, and it was terrible compared. Oh, we lost PQ.
It might just be his
picture.
There
you go.
Yeah, we're all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I charged.
You can't leave Spider-Man out of that, though.
Oh, yeah. Say it again?
He had to charge his pod up.
AirPods.
You said what, though, after that, PrimoJAB?
No, I was just saying, like, you say ain't nobody bigger than the big two. I would have to argue that, you got Superman, Batman, but you got to put Spider-Man right there.
He's right there, but I don't think he's bigger than those two. Because I think...
you might be right. I never really thought about it that way.
I like Spider-Man more than
when
those
I think
two.
of the three superheroes instantly off the top of your head. That's what I think I say, those three.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
God damn it.
Do you guys watch The Boys at all?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Do you finish it, though? Did you finish that third season?
I did.
Yep.
Hey, yo.
Finished it.
Okay. Season 3, before we got to get off here. The start of season 3 was the most insane shit I've seen. My daughter was asleep.
That shit was retarded.
That was it. I was watching it. My daughter was asleep. She woke up, had to turn it off. She went to sleep again. Woke up, had to turn it off. I'm like, yo, word. But then I was like, I ain't even watch it. I was like repulsed. I was like, how can you kill someone like that?
Yeah. It was quite disturbing.
It was an accident. Then he went. Yeah, this is my new move. this is my sidekick in the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Word. He's trying to get in my butt, Paul. Like, don't let it, like, that shit was...
Don't let it happen to me.
That shit is wild.
Yeah, it was bugged out.
These writers are disturbed. Like, yo, that shit is great, though.
Yeah, it was over the top.
That shit started on the Reddit, though, because that's like everybody talking all that shit like, Ant-Man could have just ended Infinity War so quickly. All he had to do was shrink, crawl inside of Thanos' butt, and grow big. That was a Reddit thing. Yeah, that was a whole thing on the internet for a considerable amount of time. If you Google it, they'll be like, Google Ant-Man Thanos, and everything will come up.
Yeah.
Everything will come up.
The Boys is like the all guns no butter of the comic book world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they kind of like it's a parody. Like everybody's got a parody, but then they work it into the real world and everything. Yeah.
That's dope.
That's dope.
I agree.
You killing with the analogies, boy. Man, PQ came through equipped. He's like,
Yo, shout out All Guns No Butter, because I don't know if anybody the marriage of the image
and then the lyric,
the scenario and the lyric. Oh,
the lyrics
my God,
always been
it shows how deep his love for hip hop is, though.
Yeah.
And yet he's got to be really, really intelligent, because he totally gets what's completely current in culture. Like he's, but like mainstream culture as well, and ties that in with the hip hop community. You know, that dude, super, super brilliant.
He said that the FBI raided Donald Trump's house because they found the shipping slips that were created for albums or something.
He don't give a fuck, man.
And he wild, man.
Several predominant people don't like that dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't appreciate him. But
so be it.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm not saying anything. That man's hilarious, man.
But they don't like him because it's probably like a little bit close. It hit home.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It hit home.
Yeah, the way that he'll talk about people scamming their fans.
Yeah.
And
he goes real hard about fruity colored vinyl too.
Yeah,
really hard.
So that's my favorite thing that he does. It's by far my favorite thing that he does, because
I can't get off if I don't have rainbow color
vinyl. Yeah. Because like prior to this wave, I would, like, if I was buying vinyl and I saw, like, I didn't really mess with like picture disc, or like if I saw that something had color, like I want black vinyl, like, you know what I mean? Like that's what a record to me is supposed to look like. So for him to make this commentary on, oh my God, he's the best.
Hey yo, I don't really got no fruity color vinyl, but definitely I got the floral, crime apple. I got the actually the glow in the dark.
I would say floral falls under the fruity colored vinyl.
That's the fucking amazing.
I don't think we were ever talking about actual fruits.
I would, but I would like
snozberry.
I would not think that shit played until you put it on the, like, how does this shit work? This is lacquer? What the fuck is this shit?
No, but I think it's the wax itself, or the vinyl that they use. They just
when
put
the
different
vinyl
colors
is being made,
and it's pressed, and then it spreads out the colors, or they can kind of put patch colors, or however they want to design it.
That's why
various ways to do it.
That's why it's so cringe. Like when I work with like, shout out my boy Chong Wizard. When I do stuff with him,
Chong Wizard,
and if I'm doing work for him, but he'll hit me to do like, some mock-ups of the vinyl before, he gets it from the pressing plant. And I've done it for some other people too, but it's always like anxiety when you got to do the mock-ups for the splatter or swirl vinyls. Cause I'm like, so, when I see what people do, they make this crazy looking colored vinyl in the mock-up, and then people get it and it doesn't, and all guns no butter talk. So like I'm trying to get this thing to look realistic. I'm not trying to half-ass it when I'm doing it, but yeah, man,
you never know, man. It's overseas, G. You never know.
Shit.
You never know.
Man. And they're making that on the spot. Like you don't know what that's. You know what I mean? It's like taking a picture of food. Like before
you just have to
it,
put
like,
an asterisk or something and say that actual copy will not resemble this, or will not look like this, and that would solve a lot of problems. But I think a lot of people have these expectations, like you said, and have that same pressure on them. Like, all right, if I'm buying this, it's going to look like this, and when it does come and it doesn't look exactly like what they were imagining it to look like, not only coming 6 weeks after the fact, you know what I mean? Then people are like, oh man, I feel wronged, I feel betrayed, and it's weird.
Near fruity enough.
Yeah, this is exactly. My snozberries don't smell like snozberries. My grapes don't taste like grapes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but again, here we go, full circle. It's just dope because that's the difference between where we are in this culture right now, where there are actual collectors of just the visual of the vinyl. Like they're not buying those fruity colored joints to play them. In a lot of cases, I don't think. I bet you they just buy them to have them and just have the art, hang it on their wall, all that type of stuff. Put it on Discogs and say that they're a multimillionaire. Whatever the case is.
I think there's certain things where I generally try to own. If I had something to do with the project, I try to own it.
Absolutely,
so
that makes sense.
Either it's somebody, and some people send them to me. Most of the time I just buy it, and then I get what I get. But then there's a couple artists that I really like. I feel the need to own their project on vinyl. Specifically like Blue and Spanish Ran, when they put something out. I actually missed the recent one that they did.
Yeah, they just put something out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this last week.
Yeah. But that didn't come out on vinyl yet.
Not yet. No, the drop should be dropping when this episode is coming out. Late August-ish.
Okay.
So if not now, then in the soon.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Jay Sinai. I think his
Shout out John
projects
Doe.
Yeah. John's the man. But those guys, I think, just in terms of like owning the art, and owning like the full thing, I think it's cool. Plus, Jay Cyanide's cool because he's like I think he's like a punk and new wave dude too. So he kind of had. I'm a big fan of like the cultural exchange of hip hop. When somebody like I know that they're tapped into like another subculture, I always think that's real cool. I think that's kind of like strengthens what we have going on to like pull in other stuff.
Indeed. I'm with it too, man. This has been a great conversation, my dude. Yeah, I finished my mics. You finished your kombucha? You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm only about halfway done. I didn't want to have to take a piss break, so I kept it. I paced myself.
This has been a great conversation. You know what I'm saying? Boom, PQ, we appreciate you being on the joint. What next? What's the next thing you got coming out, man? You got any beats or you got any artwork on whose next album you got?
Yeah, so
at least drop the website.
Definitely.
The website is pqdesign.com. I'm going to be updating that with a bunch of work, a bunch of like, I'm going to kind of get a little blog thing going there where I'm giving some updates, some stories behind the creation of projects. Right now I'm doing a lot of my prints on a website I created called mindsprayprints.com. It's going to be mostly triggered towards like limited drops, but then a lot of it's going to be open edition prints, which basically means that I'm not going to advertise it as only doing 25 of these prints. I'm going to open edition because, for the stuff that's more themed around, like I got a Mandalorian print up there. I want to do some people that want to own art, but don't really care too much about the whole limited collector part. They just want to have something dope hanging up.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got
a little bit lower price.
Be up there.
Yeah, something that's a little bit more consistent. And then I have it's the Sunku beat tape series. And before the end of the year, there's 4 of them out now. My goal is before the end of the year, I'm going to have 12 total. I was going to time that out like month by month, but had some family health issues get in the way, and that kind of slowed me up a little bit. So, so that's basically it. Thank you so much for having me on here. It was
no doubt,
really good to talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man.
Anytime, man.
Karl, PrimoJAB, you got something else?
Merch. We got merch.
Oh yeah, we got merch coming. Yeah. You got this podcast merch coming soon. We'll direct you over to how to purchase it, how to wear it to your favorite hip hop show. You know what I'm saying? Boom. I'm guaranteed someone's gonna come up to you, have a conversation. You have a friend. You know what I'm saying? Boom.
Yeah. Hey man, before we get out of here again, like I said, man, like we all said, thank you so much for taking some time to come out.
Yeah, yo.
You hit so many of the right topic points that I think are very relevant as far as what's really making this place, this abyss, this invisible renaissance, something that's amazing. The spirit of entrepreneurship, the spirit of innovation, and
collaboration.
Just collaboration. Thank you, Karl. All of that. You embody that, man. I mean, you've been so gracious to the people that you work with, and just shouting out the connections that you have, and even just how you get down in the knowledge of everything where you come from and how it all ties into your style, man. I mean, this is exactly why we do this show, man. Just to showcase artists and people like yourself doing things here, man. So salute, bro. We just happy to have you.
Thank you so much. And let's stay in touch. Let's keep that
absolutely
that DM chain going. Share some.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like if
that channel's alive, man. That channel's never going anywhere. Don't worry about that.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, fellas.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
Episode 52 of this podcast. You know what I'm saying? Further down pause. We're going further down pause. Further down pause. Yeah. See y'all next week. Boom. Nah, I mean. Wah!
Hey, everybody. Please remember, go to our Patreon. There's going to be a ton of extra content. If you're just going in as a base level subscriber, we're going to give you all of the podcasts with the extra music added into it. You're going to get music videos whenever possible. We are also going to just add extra content in there for the base level. but we will have 2 other levels. The second level is going to give you a lot of extra content. And the third level gives you the merch. So you can get that one-of-a-kind t-shirt that's only going to be available on the Patreon. But you're also going to be able to get a certified investor's mug. Yes. If you want to check it out, you can go take a look at the Patreon. It's there. As well as a dope hoodie. So subscribe, follow us, support the podcast, share this information if you can. We really appreciate you fucking with us, and we'll keep bringing you more. Peace.